Joining us live tonight to discuss is Seattle University Professor Zaida Rivera, Director of the Immigrant Justice Clinic at SU. Thanks so much for joining us, Professor.
Thank you so much for having me. Good evening.
You have been practicing immigration law more than a decade now. Is there any precedent for what we are seeing happening to Mahmoud Khalil?
Well, unfortunately, legal permanent residents are often detained when they're charged with a deportable offense. And the government also, they have broad powers under the anti-terrorism laws and national security laws to detain individuals.
As you know, the Trump administration has accused him of being a terrorist sympathizer, of supporting Hamas. Do you think that any of those allegations are warranted?
Under the Trump administration, I believe they're using the anti-terrorism laws to try to define different ways that someone is deportable. And so in this case, it looks like they're trying to use the language that he's supporting a terrorist group in order to find him deportable.
What does his arrest and his detention mean for anyone with a green card who speaks out in support of a cause they believe in, even if the government doesn't like it?
I think it's a reminder that legal permanency residency is not permanent like the name entails, and that it can be taken away. However, it's important to understand that there is legal process in order to take or strip someone of their legal permanent resident status.
There are tens of thousands of people in the United States with a green card. Should they be concerned? And if so, why?
Well, they should definitely understand that, again, the legal permanent resident status isn't permanent, and that there are certain crimes that are committed that can take it away. And in this case, when the protest is interpreted as being a sympathizer with a terrorist group, the government is trying to say or trying to deport them under a deportable offense for being a sympathizer.
So it sounds like it is still possible, even in this case, even though at least temporarily a federal judge has blocked immediate efforts to deport Khalil. What do you expect will happen next?
Absolutely. Well, in the case of someone who's detained by immigration, they have a due process right in order to defend themselves. So one of the first things to note is that when a person is charged with a deportable offense and they're placed in deportation proceedings, they have due process to have to fight their case, to defend themselves from deportation in front of an immigration judge, because only an immigration judge can strip somebody from their legal permanent resident status. So it's important to note that it's not automatic. There are safeguards in place that allows individuals to protect themselves, and also that the Department of Homeland Security has a burden to show why a person is deportable.
So just like everyone else, he does have some rights, Mahmoud Khalil. I do want to know what you think that all of us should be paying attention to as we look at this case unfold, and why it matters, why we should care about it.
Absolutely. This case is really important because we want to make sure that immigrants' due process rights are protected and that they are not stripped just because they're charged with an immigration violation. And immigration law is civil law. And unlike criminal defense or criminal law, when someone is charged, someone doesn't have the right to an attorney. And so it is something that we, have to look at and make sure that protocols are being in place, that people's due right process are being maintained. And also it's a reminder that individuals who are eligible to apply for citizenship after being an LPR, or legal permanent resident, should apply to be able to obtain the biggest protections they have in the United States.
Professor Zaida Rivera from Seattle University, thanks so much for your expertise and your insight on this critically important issue. We appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you again for the invitation.